One.
Hello, everyone. This is Greta Lynch from the Ohio University Extension Office, and today I brought a presentation to you that I call Fall Tablescapes. I'm going to share a PowerPoint with you. And from the very beginning, you'll recognize that. So this is Fall Tablescapes, and in this slide, you'll see my email address. You'll want to pay particular attention to that because we're going to see it again later today, and I have a special contest that we're going to be doing. So lynch.668@osu.edu. Also, you'll see hashtag SnapEdWorks. There's some great information about nutrition on the SnapEdWorks. And also hashtag Celebrate Your Plate. Many of you are going to be familiar with the Celebrate Your Plate website. And remember that that's where I bring you some really great recipes. So let's go to the next slide. Simple or fancy? Simple or fancy, you can decide. But if you're not having a dinner party, and these days of COVID, who is, what's the point? Well, we're going to discuss that today and put a little thought into how the importance of our meals and how our meals and our nutrition are all related. And I'm going to end with a reminder about the My Plate food groups. Eating disorders are the fourth leading mental health issue for senior Americans. And this is actually a new fact that I just recently learned. I could very easily be this lady over here on the left side of the screen. When it gets cold and wintry time, I oftentimes am just sitting in my chair. I could easily be this gentleman looking out the window and feel very lonely. My husband works away out of town, and besides my dogs and cats and my chickens and cows, I can easily get lonely, and I spend my breakfast, lunch, and dinner by myself every day. I imagine many of you could relate to that. Some of the reasons why we are not usually focused on healthy meals might be dental issues like poor fitting dentures, or maybe we have sore teeth. I know I used to love peanuts and pecans and nuts, and also popcorn are things that are a little harder for me now. Medications change our sense of taste and smell. And for those of you who have worked with me in the kitchen or taken any of my cooking classes, you'll know that I often say, if you can't smell it or it doesn't smell good, it probably isn't going to taste good either. There's a lot of anxiety anymore about going to the grocery store. I know if you're like me, putting on a mask isn't easy because it fogs up my glasses and I can't see. And then I wonder if people can hear me or understand me when I'm wearing my mask, if I ask questions, or if I've gone the wrong way down the aisle. Recently, I was in a grocery store that did not have an employee wiping off the carts as we went in, and the usual grocery store that I go to does. And so, just going to the grocery store can be a sense of anxiety. There are options for people who can't drive or don't want to go to the grocery store to order off the internet for their groceries. And I have to tell you, my daughter-in-law, who lives 14 hours away, she does that all the time. I don't know how to do that. That's something I need to learn. There are little pill boxes Monday through Sunday that we can put all our pills in, but there's no way to do that for meals. And so oftentimes we aren't focused on our healthy meals because we've forgotten if we've eaten. And the last one on this list is depression. And this is a bigger one than we might normally think, but because we're all experiencing COVID, depression is certainly something that sneaks in there and gets in the way of us remembering to focus on our meals. We're going to talk about some fun ways we might change that, though. I am not a psychiatrist and I'm not a trained professional in any way, but sometimes because I am by myself all the time, I just want someone to talk to. And I recently learned about this phone line number. It's called the Friendship Line, and this is the phone number 1-800-971-0016. And it is simply a line where you can talk to someone. It doesn't have to be for any tips or um, health issues or medical reasons. It's just someone to talk to. And I am going to be actively sharing this with everyone I know. And I hope that you will too. If it's something you don't think you would use, perhaps someone you know might benefit from it. So write that number down. I think that that would be really helpful for just about anybody who spends a lot of time by themselves. So let's make meals fun. And I want to share with you that it just takes a little bit of effort. In this picture on the left, you are simply seeing a scrapbooking piece of paper. And I know sometimes people don't want to use tablecloths because if you get food on them, then they can be stained. So I took a fun piece of scrapbook paper that I had already, and I dug a little deep into my cabinet and found a charging plate. Now, this one's a deep red. It can be used for the 4th of July. It can be used for Christmas, but I'm using it today for November. And I'm going to create a tablescape. I'll show you. To that, on the left, I added a plate that is one of my everyday plates. And then I went out in my yard and picked up some leaves and some acorns, and I glued them together, although I don't suppose you really have to, but I glued them together and just made a little decor piece for myself. And then from there, you can see the whole thing put together here on the left. But then on the right, I happen to remember that when my children were little, we had these little fun pumpkin plates. So I added a bread plate for myself. And this little pumpkin plate, I put some plastic disposable fork, knife, and spoon, just because I thought, well, that goes well with the colors that I'm using. So feel free to make it fun. Perhaps you want to use all disposables. Perhaps you want to go for a picnic in your car. I often see people picnicking so that they are out and about, but yet social distancing. They stay in their cars and they will picnic along the river. And I want to challenge you to do fun things like this, to make simple tablescapes out of things you have in your home, in your yard, that are festive as well as just seasonal. But it helps us to just enjoy our meals. You know, we're by ourselves a lot these days because of COVID, and we don't want to lack focus on healthy meals. So fun tablescapes like this can be the way to go. I'm so excited about this idea that I actually am running a little contest, and I hope that you will participate now through November 20th. If you send me a picture of your place setting, you'll be entered into the contest. And I have prizes for first and second place. So the address on the screen, lynch.668 at osu.edu, is where you'll send those pictures. Or you can make sure that Heather or Bonnie get them. I know that they'll share them with me. But I want to encourage you to just use your china. Get that stuff out. Don't let it collect dust in the cabinets. Treat yourself every day. You know, holidays are what, 6, 8 of them a year, maybe 10. But every day, 3 times a day, we need to be focused on our health and what we eat. We need to enjoy that. Perhaps one way to do that would be to call a friend and just be on the phone with your friend, and you're eating and your friend is eating. And so in that way, you're not alone. Some of us have Skype, some of us have Zoom abilities. Those aren't things I'm really good at, but being able to see someone's face while I'm eating would help me not to feel so lonely as well. I always like to end all of my presentations talking about the 5 food groups. We know that it is very important to have dairy 3 times a day from the time we're age 9 all the way through our lifespan. And not only just to grow bones, but to keep them strong and healthy. And also dairy does a lot for the metabolism, as well as there is a protein in our dairy foods that helps your heart to beat regularly. And that's certainly very important. It's cold outside, so instead of making your hot cocoa with water, let's make it with milk. Make it a dairy food that way. We know we want to focus on whole grains instead of white breads. Let's get some whole bread. Let's get some whole grain pasta, whole brown rice, all those kinds of things. For protein this time of year, it's nice to have some nuts. They're out in the stores right now in abundance because people are baking with them. But we can have those as a snack. We can top our oatmeal in the morning with those, and in that way we get our protein. You'll remember from seeing the 5 food groups plate before that vegetables should take up the majority of the plate, and certainly fruits come right in there. This time of year, we have fewer things that are fresh coming in. Certainly, the local farmers markets are winding down for the year. And so, I want to encourage you to choose frozen fruits and vegetables over canned just because of the sodium levels. So remember to try to get in all 5 of the food groups in each meal. And remember to make it fun. I hope this presentation has helped you to enjoy thinking about food and your meals in a brand new way. And I hope that you'll participate in my Tablescape contest. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.